this location means a lot to me, you know. It played an absolute pivotal role in a part of my adolescence growing up. So right now, we're at Clifton Road Youth Centre, and this location is where I used to go every other Thursday, and then that developed into going there every other Thursday and every Monday to come and skateboard. So they used to have a club here. And they would fill up the basketball court with ramps, rails, and it used to be a £1 entry to get inside, and you would have a queue. Like from there all the way down there are just kids from all over the city, really. Obviously, predominantly, a lot of them coming from Sutton, but there were people that came from outside Sutton. A lot of them coming from working class backgrounds, obviously myself included. I used to get on the bus with a group of my friends, make my way down here, and then yeah, we would skateboard. And the reason to why it holds so much of a pivotal role in my adolescence is because skateboarding is the thing that introduced me to picking up the camera, and me picking up the camera basically became my tool of how I communicated to the whole world. And it's like how I built my voice, it's how I built connections, it's how I built friends, it's how I built my own self-identity. So going into it a bit deeper, like obviously man's from a working class area. I'm from Erdington, yeah, so born and bred, grew up there. But after my mum and dad splitting up, I moved to Handsworth only for a year, and then my mum's relocated back to Erdington. But where she's relocated to was kind of like the back end of Erdington, so it's like closer to Sutton than it is to Aston. Where my dad lives, that was closer to Aston. So like my childhood memories of like playing outside, predominantly just all black kids. You get me? Like I didn't really have that many white friends outside of that when my mum and dad was together. Obviously through nursery and whatever, but just due to the location that we was in, the nursery that I went to and whatnot, and the family unit where it was located, it's just all black kids that I'm around. My whole school career has been in Sutton. My primary school was in Wild Green, which is technically Sutton. No, it is Sutton. And then my senior school was also deep in Sutton as well. So outside of my experience of playing with my friends that are outside the school, the ones in school were very much white, do you get me? Because of the places that I went to school in. And due to that, the primary school days, there was no issue, because you're young in it, so you don't see the differences, you don't see the nuances in things that kids that come from one area into versus kids that come from another area, you get me? It all became apparent when I've gone to senior school. So I'm not out with my childhood friends due to obviously my mum and dad splitting up, and then me living where I'm living, you get me? And on the estate that I lived on, there was a mix of all types of kids, so it wasn't about the estate, it was more about the school that I've gone to. So I'm the only black boy in my year, and like I said, I've ended up getting into skateboarding, which I don't regret at all. But through me getting into that, through me not staying connected with the kids that I grew up with where my dad lived, I've ended up picking up traits that black kids would say is white. Do you get me? So that created an identity crisis, and that's obviously due to skateboarding, because I'm doing something that at the time was not respected. Not to say it wasn't accepted, it just wasn't understood. See, like where we are right now in 2025, where you've got a crossover of cultures, where you got people that will wear Vans, you got people that will wear like Louis Vuitton trainers, and the trainers are all modeled off skateboarding trainers. That wasn't a thing. To get me, my closest connection to like black culture and skateboarding was from an American perspective, and that's like Pharrell. But because that's America, we're in England, it still don't count, you get me? So it's taken years for things to kind of catch up where it's all intertwined, you get what I'm saying? Now, when I look at like people that I know who you would consider as Gen Z, like they're wearing, like I said, Vans, baggy trousers, flipping chains, on like all the stuff that I was doing back then at the age of like I said, between 12 to 15, it's what I see the kids do now. But it's respected now because it's been adopted into wider culture. It's been adopted into skateboarding. Into hip hop. Biggest example of that is Supreme. Everyone will wear a Supreme t-shirt, hoodie, whatever, because it's a brand that's respected. But that's a skateboard brand. Do you get me? But anyway, point that I'm trying to make out is the reason to why this location is so pivotal to the adolescence is, like I said, it's where I honed my love and enjoyment for skateboarding. But through skateboarding, I picked up the camera, and the camera has become a tool that I haven't put down, and that is how I make my money. It's how I live my life. It's my career. The camera's my everything. So yeah, that's why this location holds so much sentiment to me. Yeah, I continue to do the work that I do because, as I said, like, the cameras became my identity now, and that in itself is kind of bad. It's a bit negative because you should never make anything that's materialistic. You should never make anything that's materialistic become a part of your identity. But there is a mad passion that I have for expressing myself, and obviously the cameras became the tool that I do that with. So I can't put it down. Like, there's going to be no possible way of me putting this thing down because it's the crutch that I use to prop myself up, to position myself, to move forward and to make sense of this world. So yeah, I could never put it down. And even if I did put it down, in some aspects, it's always going to be a part of me. So just the way in which that I look at things now, like when I'm driving, I might see something that is so random, but I gotta stop and take a picture of it. Or even if I don't take a picture of it, I'm making a mental note of it, or I might want to sketch it. Do you get me? I could be walking and I could see something. So like the lens, pun intended, that the cameras gave me is that the way that I visually take the world in now is more from an analytical point of view, and I'm always seeing reference points and I'm always seeing things, and that's something that I can't switch off. So I could never put the camera down.
So camera's integral part of like your process. And so what is it about the process that holds value for you?
If we go to it on the most deepest of levels, the part of the process that keeps me locked in hasn't changed from the inception. If you remember what I said in the first question, was the camera became my tool of how I connected with my community and how I built relationships with people. And I also said that I had an identity crisis on the basis of having interests in things that aren't stereotypically known as things that black people do. And because of that, I think that it has gave me a lens, once again, pun intended, it's gave me a perspective that allows me to see the world that in a slightly different way, and I'm able to understand things that others might not be able to understand. So an example that I'll always give to people is looking at Virgil and looking at what he achieved with his career, Off-White, being at Louis Vuitton. And I always say that there's probably a lot of similarities in our experiences, in the fact that we're both black, both coming from working class situations, but also having interests that exist outside of that. And why he is a person that I always refer to, because he found the science of how you bring worlds together and how you add a certain taste level to things to make them go to a stratosphere that is just out of this world. And what I mean by that is he's obviously made his brand, which is Off-White. But the reference for Off-White is him obviously was talking about drugs. It's a drug reference. He's talking about cocaine, yeah? But a lot of people probably don't even know the fact that the name comes from that. And that's because he's obviously involved, indoctrinated, grown up with, and experiences aspects of the black experience that are kind of negative, but have been turned into a positive due to like hip hop culture and how that's just what is that? That is hip hop culture is now pop culture. Like it is the epicenter of coolness and things that are on the cutting edge. But what Virgil has done is he's taken certain, he's referenced certain from there, but he's also added a lens from things that are outside of that. And I think bringing them together, he also understood how to package them so that these group of people could understand or connect to it, and then these people could understand and connect to it. And when you just bring those things together, like I said, it takes it to a stratosphere that is on unimaginable heights. And that's why he ended up being the creative director at Louis Vuitton. And I'm inspired by that. I see myself having the ability to be able to translate concepts, translate ideas, and to be a cultural connector via storytelling. So because that now is the main passion, as I said, the camera is the tool to help me doing that. So that's why I can't put it down. And it's a continuous process of understanding how to become more efficient, more effective at communicating culture. The fondest memory of growing up in the community that I come from is simply playing with my friends. You see like how you see Instagram where there's always people that's kind of like reminiscing about how things used to be, like going to knock on your brethren's door and waiting for that moment. His mom will answer the door, you gotta say hello, then you wait for it, like all of that, bro. Sick memories, bro. I like love it. And obviously playing outside, playing Aki 1, 2, 3, playing one touch, one bounce, flipping, chilling outside in summer, waiting for the ice cream van to come, riding my bike, my brethrens, just all of that nostalgia kind of stuff. Like that's what brings me like just like pure joy. But if there's like a particular moment or a day, I don't know, man. It's filled with so many. And like I said, I've also got 2 experiences, you get me? So like the childhood friends that I've got where my dad used to live, and then the friends that I had where my mum lived. And it's kind of like 2 different experiences, because where my dad was from wasn't a council estate. It was very much working class environment, but people around there owned their houses. Do you get what I'm saying? Like there weren't no flats around there. But where my mum lived, I'm on a council estate now, so I'm seeing a lot more like ASBO behavior. So like the phone box getting smashed all the time, little kids running around, like I'm on about like babies like in their nappies and like dirty vests and that running around, man jumping on mattresses that are just outside, just like basically I got more freedom. My dad was a strict Jamaican man, yeah, so he will bust my ass if I do anything that I'm not meant to do. Around my mum, obviously she's a woman, I got more freedom. I can kind of maneuver around and do more of the things that I want to do. So the 2 experiences were different, but I'm fond of both of them because obviously it's just made me who I am. So yeah.
Is there a day in particular that's you love?
You know what, yeah? I say this. The type of person that my dad raised me to be was someone that was disciplined, someone that was serious, and someone that's always striving for like excellence in the sense of like achieving something in it. So I picked up the hobby of skateboarding, and I got vivid memories of, I didn't skate around my dad's area, wasn't built for that. Obviously, it didn't happen around there. Mum's area, you get me? And obviously it's a council estate as well. And I got vivid memories, yeah, of starting a petition, you get me? Flipping, drew up some like this sheet on Word, and I started knocking on doors, getting people to sign a petition to get a skate park made. I then made a relationship with a local policeman that used to keep coming around the area. Like I said, it's an Asbo area, you get me? Made relationships with him, told him about what I'm trying to do. Then he will go to council meetings for me with the petition, and he will report back to me, telling me about the progress of if it could happen, if it couldn't happen. And I got memories of doing things like that. I got memories of rounding up my friends, getting buckets, getting sponges, washing cars, and just like things like rounding people up again, going to the wood yard, getting free scrap wood, getting them to make ramps for me, then transporting it back down to the estate on our skateboards. So I've got memories of rounding people up to get things done for a bigger purpose of trying to expand, just expand myself within the realm of skateboarding. That's a proper memory that I have from being a child, and it like, yeah. And I wouldn't say it's average, I wouldn't say it's normal, and I don't really know exactly where it's informed from, or what even gave me the audacity to go up to a policeman and ask the man to do this stuff for me, and then him coming back to report to me about council meetings and all of that. He may have never done anything, you get me? Could have been chatting shit for all I know, but I most definitely know I was knocking on doors, I'm getting people to sign this paper, and I'm giving it to my man with the hope of getting the skate park made, you get me? So yeah, that's a big memory still. That's a big memory. The thing about my upbringing that gives me a great sense of pride is the fact that I'd come from a strong working class background, and I was fortunate enough to see two ends of the spectrum. Like, I don't want to say not extreme ends of the spectrum, but one that had a little bit less and one that had a little bit more. My dad was a very disciplined, hard Jamaican man, you get what I'm saying? And you know what type of man I'm on about, you get me? One that would hold you accountable to everything, but he was a grafter, you get me? He worked himself to death, that's what killed him. But all of that work was done for the betterment of his family, and most importantly, me and my bro. So that has installed a certain level of work ethic in me, a certain level of accountability that I've used to help drive myself forward. Just other things like yeah, man, it's just given me a great sense of pride. It's made me who I am, and that's not to take away anything from my mum's side, because I would say that just exposed me to being selfless, innit? Like the both of them are selfless, but I know that my mum, more than my dad, has put herself in compromising positions to ensure that me and my bro don't go without, you get me? And that in itself has also kind of, I don't know, led to having a certain level of empathy that also helps. It helps me to navigate just through this treacherous world, man. So the upbringings have been monumental in shaping me into the person that I am. And yeah, collectively between the both of them, they've just shown me what love is, you get me? And I move with love with anyone that I consider as like family or close to me, you get what I'm saying? Like, don't put yourself first, hold yourself with integrity, and just be an honest person, you get me? And I think that all of those attributes and traits is what makes up the working class experience. You know what I'm saying? As I said, I've experienced a part of life where you've got a little bit more, and I know that that little bit more has come from someone working hard, someone carving out a lane for themselves, someone educating themselves and figuring things out. And yeah, like me and my bro, we didn't have the finer things, but if my dad's there, he's got it covered. You get what I'm saying? He's got it covered. And then with my mum, a little bit more of a struggle, but the struggle is what also gives you a little bit of an edge as well, innit? So it's just a balance, bro. I feel like I've had a real good balanced upbringing in seeing things, you get me? And yeah, man, it's a working class experience. That's the best way I can put it. I've had a great upbringing that is a great example of what it means to be working class.